Welcome back to another video, guys. Like the title says, guys, how to be more mature as a young adult. All right, let me get my thumbnail. Okay, so a lot of you guys, right, like you look at the generation nowadays, my generation, right, young people we're young, right, but a lot of these kids nowadays, right, like people my age, people younger than me, they all immature, right? They're not serious about their life. They're not serious about anything. You know, they don't take accountability or responsibility over their life. And they're out there goofing around, they're partying, they're drinking, they're not taking shit serious. So it gets to the point where we need to be mature, guys. And this is how I'm gonna teach you guys, right, how you can be more mature as a young adult. All right, so the first thing that you guys gotta do, sorry guys, if you guys hear my nose sniffling too, I don't know why, guys. Every time that I film videos and it's like 11:54 in the morning, I got a fan right next to me. Maybe it's blowing dust in my face, but my nose is always running, bro. Like, I don't know why, guys, but it's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Because my throat get a little bit mucus, so, you know, you got to expel them, right? But anyways, guys, the first thing that you guys got to do is you guys got to focus on being well-rounded in your life, all right? My whole philosophy in my life is, even if I'm a young individual, my whole goal is I want to be the best version of myself. And in order for me to be the best version of myself, I need to be well-rounded in every aspect of my life, whether it be physical, spiritual, mental, my characteristics, my life skills and experiences, my finances, my businesses, my relationships with people, with God, my spirituality, my communication skills, my leadership skills, everything, guys. Even when I'm playing Fortnite, I gotta try and be the best. I gotta be well-rounded in every sense possible. Even when I'm working on my 9-to-5 jobs, that's just my mentality. Because why? I want to push myself. I want to be the best version of myself in every realm possible. And, you know, because God put me here for a purpose. God put everybody here for a purpose. All right? If you're out here speaking, you're in a first world country, you got water, food, necessities. You got everything, right? You can move your arms and legs. You got to make use of it, all right? You better not be fucking, like, you know, playing around and you're, like, taking for granted your everyday life. You know what I'm saying? So you got to push yourself. You got to be the best version of yourself. So to be more mature, you guys got to be well-rounded. All right, and how can you be well-rounded? Like I said, guys, you guys got to focus on every aspect of your life. So the first thing that I'll recommend for you guys to do, right, in order for you to be well-rounded, you need to be occupied every single day of your life. If you guys are still in high school, this might be a little bit, you know, this schedule might be a little bit different for you guys, but I'm talking about like for the young adults. Be well-rounded. The schedule that you guys can do is you guys can work multiple 9-to-5 jobs. If you don't want to go to college and you don't know what you want to do, and you know maybe your career field is it doesn't require going to college, I'd recommend don't go to college if that's the case. But if you don't go to college, I'd recommend doing this, right? Work multiple, maybe 2 to 3 9-to-5 jobs. And the reason for this, guys, is I know a lot of you guys too. You guys are like, oh, I don't like work 9-to-5 jobs because I like being a streamer. I like join Kaisenat's university. I like go ahead and be a YouTuber. I like do e-commerce. You know what I'm saying? But I would kind of argue against that in the meantime, because when you're young and you know you're immature and you're not mature yet, right? Listen to what I'm saying. When you're not mature, you're gonna be more. You're gonna, you know, and you're trying to do content. You're gonna be posting immature content, and you're gonna be acting like a clown on the internet. Why? Because you're not mature. All right, and you're not well-rounded. So this is why I recommend this schedule before you focus on becoming a YouTuber and streamer or trying to be a business owner. Because when you get money, all right, everybody's like, there's money everywhere nowadays. It's so easy to get rich, right? Everybody's getting rich when they're 15, 16 years old. And it's just crazy nowadays, right? There's so many opportunities to make money. And so when you get rich before you become mature and be well-rounded, it's not going to end well. Right? If you're a YouTuber and you become, you know, you go viral on TikTok because, you know, you're recording people in Target and screaming in their face like a jackass, guess what, guys? That's the only content that you're going to post. You're going to be posting stupid content and you're going to be acting like a clown on the internet, and you're not going to be providing value or important information to other people. And, you know, because why? Because you're immature. You don't know anything better. So this is why I recommend this. When you're working your 2 to 3 jobs, not only are you stacking up your income, but you're stacking up your life skills and experiences and your skill sets. All right? And this is so vital and important, guys. All right? So you're stacking up your income, but you're stacking up your life skills and experiences and your skill sets that'll make you more mature as a person and make you more well-rounded, right? So the first job I'll recommend is working a physical labor job. All right? My first job that I worked at was a landscaping job, and I worked a bunch of physical labor jobs, and I did a lot of different sports and combat sports and training. So I know what it's like to build your physicality, right? And I believe that, you know, like they say all the time, when you build your body, you when you build your body, with a strong body, you have a stronger mind and soul. And I 100% agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Because although, you know, you look at all these people, maybe they're like super smart and they're very intelligent, right? And maybe they're pushing their mental capacity to a degree, but they haven't done anything physically hard, right? They haven't unlocked that other side of their brain. Like it's so weird, guys. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but you gotta, like, if anybody who does anything physically hard, you would understand what I'm trying to say. When you're getting beat up in a boxing ring, right? You're just like, your body's saying that you're tired, but your mind has to persevere, right? You have to tell your mind has to tell your body to keep going, to keep taking the punches, to keep, moving around, even if you're tired and you're out of breath. When you're running laps around the field and you're training, you're doing sprints 100 yards on the football field, you're fucking tired. Your legs are sore. Your mind is sore. You're out of breath. Your head is sore. You're fucking having a huge headache. You're breathing. Your throat is dry. You can't breathe, right? And it gets to the point where your mind has to be the one that's stronger to push your body to keep going, even if you feel that pain, right? When you're swimming and you're tired and you're burnt out and you got to jump out the pool, you got to do push-ups and you're conditioning for the season. It's hard, guys, right? So that's why with a physical body, you build your body and you build your mind. And also when you build your mind, you're building your soul. All right. So it gets to the point where I see a lot of kids nowadays, they haven't done anything physically challenging. Therefore, their mental capacity is not as not as strong. Right. So I believe that if you haven't done any combat sport, still do or not even just a combat sport, but just anything physically hard, gym, running, swimming, football, basketball. I don't really like basketball, but anything like that, right? Any kind of physical sport. If you haven't done any of that, you got to work a physical labor job. Okay? Because like I said, guys, you got to build up your body, you got to build up your mind, you got to build up your soul. And it also builds up your work ethic, your discipline. It builds up your responsibility, your accountability. And when I was working at landscape, right? I worked landscaping, warehouse jobs, restaurant jobs, delivery jobs. I worked warehouse jobs. I worked driving jobs. I worked fast food. I worked all kinds of different jobs, right? But all of the physical labor jobs that I worked at, it pushed my body in a sense, right? So I was like, oh, I feel better. You know what I'm saying? So it teaches you all that kind of stuff, but also it builds up, like when I was working at landscaping, it built up a bunch of my skill sets. I was 16 at the time when I started working landscaping in 2019. I learned how to drive golf carts. It also taught me how to drive real vehicles. I drove forklifts. I learned how to cut grass, how to operate different machineries, how to leaf blow, how to paint roads and curbs, how to go ahead and plant grass, how to play Minecraft in real life. At fast food, I was learning all kinds of different jobs, warehouse jobs. I was doing this, I was doing that. So it builds up your skill sets, right? I mean, when you build up your skill sets, you're going to be like, oh shit, it's going to teach you so much. It's going to make you more mature in a sense. It's just a different type of thing, right? The next type of job that you guys got to work at is a customer service job. All right. So like I said, guys, I worked at Taco Bell for 2 years in 2020 to 2022. I was 17 years old, fresh out of high school. I worked there all the way till I was 19. It was in the middle of COVID too. The whole COVID era, I was working over there. I was working landscaping and Taco Bell, right? So it got to the point where customer service job is super vital. And the reason for this, guys, because it allows you to practice your communication skills, which is so important, right? When you need to communicate, you need it to make money. You need it to make, whatever business that you're trying to run. When you're trying to sell a physical product or service, you need to know how to communicate and convey your message. Not only that, but you need to know how to convey your story. You need to know how to be confident. You need to know how to be charismatic. You need to know social awareness and different interactions with different people and strangers, right? You need to know. You need good body posture. You need good eye contact, right? Not only that, but maybe you're trying to run a YouTube page, right? If you don't know how to speak and you're fucking bad at communicating, how are you going to convey your message? How are you going to provide valuable information to people? How are you going to go ahead and explain what you're thinking from your mind, right? And explain it through your mouth so that people can understand what you're trying to say, right? Don't be like all these other YouTubers and streamers where they don't know how to speak and they're yelling all the time and they're acting like clowns. That's not the way to go, guys. I want you guys to be mature. I want you guys to be the best version of yourselves, right? So communication is key. Not only with making money, but maybe you're trying to pick up the girl of your dreams. You need to know how to speak. Maybe you're trying to persuade your family member to stop smoking and stop drinking alcohol. And the only way to convince him, you need to be good at communicating, right? To convey your message, to make him understand that this is bad for you. So customer service job teaches you communication skills. It allowed me to practice my stoicism because everybody at the job at Taco Bell was pissing me off, the customers, the coworkers, and I had to learn how to control my emotions. I learned how to work under pressure because life is pressure. If you can't handle stress and pressure, you're not going to be successful in a sense. It allowed me to practice my multitasking because, like I said, guys, when you're trying to be well-rounded, you got to multitask, right? You got to take care of every aspect of your life. It also allowed me to work hard with little to no reward, which is vital because, right, when you're trying to do YouTube, when you're trying to start a business, you're not going to see rewards right away. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna give up? You're not gonna work hard because the reward is little? What are you gonna do when you go to the gym? You're trying to be the strongest person. You're not gonna see results right away. What are you gonna do? You're gonna give up because the reward is little. You don't see instant gratification right away. So the whole point I'm trying to make is, guys, if you want to be well-rounded, the schedule that you guys got to do, you got to work multiple 9-to-5 jobs so that not only you're stacking up your money, but you're stacking up your life skills, your experiences, your skill sets, and it's pretty much going to make you a better version of yourself to be more successful in life. And it's going to be making you more mature, and it's going to be helping you understand, right? It's going to help you understand life, your the real world. It's going to help you understand different, you're going to formulate better perspectives and opinions on certain things and subjects, and about different types of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets to the point where you're going to be out here experiencing life, and this is how you're going to be more well-rounded. You're going to be more mature. And in the meantime, you guys go train, you guys go gym, you go church, you guys take care of your health. You guys got to go ahead and travel. Maybe you got to spend time with your girlfriend. You get all these responsibilities that you guys got to focus on. And then maybe you're trying to build your business and you're learning different skills to make more money. And then maybe you're out here, you're building a brand. I don't know, right? You guys are doing a bunch of things. Maybe you have different hobbies. Maybe you're a singer. Maybe you're a cook. Maybe you're a writer. Maybe you're an artist, right? That's how you're going to be more mature, right, guys? You guys just got to focus on every aspect of your life. You got to be well-rounded, right? So I'm going to erase this real quick, guys, because I don't have space. So the next thing that you guys got to do to be more mature, right? When you're going out in life, this is what you guys got to do. A lot of people, right? This is a big lesson. You guys got to learn the life lesson right away. So I feel like, sorry guys, but my hair is so freaking long, bro. I gotta get one haircut. Sorry guys, itchy. Fucking nose is sweaty. I mean, not sweaty, I'm running. But learn the life lesson right away. I see a lot of people, even older people, even people in their 40s and 50s and 60s, in their 30s, right? People out here. I believe that everything happens for a reason. No matter what you believe in. If you believe in God, if you believe in the universe, if you believe in Buddha, if you believe in the Shaolin monks, if you believe in dragons, if you believe in nothing, I believe that everything happens for a reason, no matter what it is. If you got sick for 2 months, it happened for a reason. If you got you got beat up for some reason, and you're talking shit to people and they beat you up, it happened for a reason. If you're out here, you lost all your money, you went broke, it happened for a reason. And for me, guys, right, I'm very optimistic, and I believe in the positives in things. Even if it's the most negative situation, I always try to look for the positives in no matter what it is. It's just my mindset, it's my mentality, it's my programming. I believe that, right? I repurpose my mind to believe that everything happens for a reason, and that God gave me this tests and trials to not only put me through suffering, but also to make me a better version of myself in that sense, right? So let's say another example, right? How can I break this down? Maybe you get an alcoholic, right? Maybe he drinks all the time, and on Friday he decides, okay, I'm gonna go drink, I'm gonna go party, I'm gonna go to the club and meet my boys, all right? And when he's driving home, he gets into a car accident, all right? So that's one thing, right? It happened for a reason. What was God trying to teach that man? Stop drinking. Stop wasting money. Stop hanging out with goofballs. Stop trying to put your life in danger and other people's lives in dangers. Start focusing. Start focusing on God. Start focusing on trying to be a better version of yourself. So it happened for a reason, right? And people know, right? The lesson in that whole sense was stop drinking alcohol. Stop doing dumb shit. All right? So that's what the life lesson was, right? Something had to happen so that you had to, the lesson. It was trying to teach you a lesson. The whole situation was trying to teach you a lesson. Now, the person that was an alcoholic and he crashed, he had to learn the life lesson right away. A lot of these guys, they don't learn the life lesson right away. So he drinks. The next week he goes back drinking and he goes to the club again. Now, he's going to come back home, right? Maybe he finishes drinking. It's 1 a.m. He starts driving back home. But this time, instead of crashing, he gets pulled over by a cop for drunk driving and speeding or whatever. He's swerving out of lanes. Now, he gets his license revoked and he gets arrested for a bit. And he has to get bailed out because he's drunk driving. Now, he can't drive. And, he can't drive now. He doesn't have a vehicle. He got arrested. He wasted money. He got to get bailed out or whatever. Now he has legal shit that he has to go through. So, the lesson is, guys, right? Stop fucking drinking. And the thing is, God, whatever that you believe in, is gonna keep putting you to whatever. He's gonna keep putting you to whatever that it is, whatever situation that it is, so that you learn the lesson and so that you can make a change, right? But the thing is, guys, a lot of these people, they know what they're doing wrong. They know what the right and wrong thing to do, and they know what the life lesson is, technically. The alcoholic probably knew that, yeah, he should stop drinking. He should stop drinking and driving. He should stop going out every night and wasting his time and money and hanging out with bad influences. He knows what the right thing to do is. And the thing is, the trick is, a lot of people, they know what the lesson is, that they're, whatever that they're going to. They know what the right thing to do is. They know what's right from wrong. But the thing is, they don't apply it. They don't apply it to their life right away. So a lot of people, they know drinking is bad. They go through things that shows them that it's bad. But the thing is, they know what the lesson is, right? I talk to a lot of people who drinks and smokes. And I ask them, hey, bro, why do you drink and smoke? And then they give me their stupid bullshit excuses. Yeah, oh, it's for a coping mechanism. Oh, I got all these problems. Oh, blah, 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 right? All these excuses, right? And then they always tell me, I know it's wrong for me. I know I gotta quit. So the thing is, they know what the life lesson is, right? They know it's bad. They know what the right and wrong thing to do is. The thing is, a lot of these people, they go in life, right, the whole life, they don't apply the lesson right away. You're right, a lot of people, they're not fucking that stupid to know that drinking is bad. They're not fucking stupid to know that smoking is bad, right? It influences their mindset and it makes them lazy and, you know, it's unhealthy and shit like that. They know what's right from wrong, guys. The thing is, a lot of these people, they don't apply the lesson right away into their life, which is why all of these alcoholics and all of these people who smoke and does bad shit, they go their whole life till like they're 60 years old to finally apply the lesson to their life, right? They don't want to change. So the thing is, if you want to be mature, guys, at a young age, all right, and I would argue a lot, but I would debate with people, right? Because you know, older people, they would always, like, at job interviews or whatever, they would always, like, you know, obviously, guys, you look at the generalized young people nowadays, fucking Gen Z, Gen X, whatever the hell that we are, Gen Alpha, all of us are fucking stupid, right? You look at all these kids, like, in a generalized sense, you look at them, majority of them, right? We're like, all of you guys, if you guys watching my videos, we're like the minority, guys, right? We want to be a better version of ourselves. We want to be mature at a young age. We want to be, you know, changing the perspective and the narrative of young people nowadays. We want to be look like, you know, set our standards higher for young people, like it was 1945 in World War II, right? All the young people were going to war. Everyone, they had high expectations for young men at that time, and young women and young people, right? But nowadays, you look at it now, the stereotype is, and the standards is so low that people look, even if you're young, you're like 19, they look at you as if you're stupid, even if you're not stupid, even if you're, you know, you're not like the regular people, they look at you stupid because of your age. That's the stereotype nowadays. That's the expectations. It's so low, they look at you, if you're not, you're fucking, if you're 19, you act like a 12-year-old. And that's how people act nowadays, right? So when I was, I used to work at this high school job, and I was the youngest one at the job. Actually, let's go rewind a little bit, right? When I was 16, I started working at landscaping, all right? I was still in high school, and I was working with grown men, bro. I was working with 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds. My boss was like a 50-year-old woman, you know what I'm saying? And everybody was looking at me like, oh, this one's 16-year-old boy. What has he had? You know, like, can we trust him? Is he gonna fuck up the job? Is he gonna go and hurt himself on accident because of the machinery? You know what I'm saying? We gotta watch him. So I remember when I was working at the job, when I first started, all the older men were like, oh yeah, we're not gonna give you the hard tasks because, you know, like you get hurt, we don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, but, you know, but it was like, oh fuck, like, you know, they look at us like we're fucking kids. Because you guys, we act like kids, right? Not me, but you guys, the fucking majority people of you guys act like kids. When I worked at Taco Bell, it wasn't really like that because I was working with a lot of young people as well, so whatever. But when I went to this high school job, right? I was working at my old high school in the cafeteria department, and I was only 19 at the time when I started working over there. That was in 2022. So I was super young at the time. I was like the youngest one there. And then I was working with like 40-year-old men, 40-year-old women, 30-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. And like my partner was like a 62-year-old man at that time, like fucking 2022. And when I first started, I remember, I already knew, I came into the mindset where I was already mature pretty much at that time, you know, but not as mature now, you know what I'm saying? Every year, every month, I'm progressing as a person and leveling up in that sense. But at 19 years old, I felt mature right at that time. So when I went in, I already knew that, fuck, these people, they're gonna look at me as if I'm a little kid. You know, it was young, right? 19 years old, barely experienced life, but they're gonna look at me as if I'm not hardworking, I'm gonna be lazy, I'm gonna slack off, I'm gonna be slow, I'm gonna be shitty. So I remember the first day of my job, this lady, right, this 40-year-old lady, I had to work with her. And what I had to do was I had to put like fruits in the cups, and we had to do like fucking like 500 cups, and then I had to do like some other things with fruits and vegetables. I had to, like, I was working in the pantry at that time, and then they're like, she was making fun of me. She was like, yeah, you young kids, you guys gotta learn how to work better. And I don't know, like, that was her first impression of me. She thought I was gonna be on Jackass because I was so young. Like, I was like not gonna take the job serious. So first month in, I proved them otherwise. I learned the job. I was fast and quick. I showed up on time. I was reliable. The first month in, my boss, right, he was telling me, this 40-year-old man, he was like, this Mexican guy, right, he was like, hey brah, you like be promoted? I was like, oh, what you mean promoted? He's like, you know what, instead of you just sitting, because I signed up for a dish room, right, and pretty much I was in the dish room, and they were pulling me into different, like, I was working in the pantry and helping with the cooks, but I was mainly like the dish room guy. So my boss is like, instead of you just working in the dish room and in the cafeteria, why don't you go ahead and learn how to be a delivery driver, and you can get paid more because like, everyone likes you. It's only 1 month in, but we like you, we want to keep you. And the funny thing was, guys, that actually 1 month in, I quit the job. I was like, hey boss, thank you for the the promotion, I guess, but I don't think I'm gonna be staying at this job. My boss was like, what? Like, he was so devastated. He told me, he said, he called me up after I quit, right? He was like, hey, 5K Dono, if you want to come back to this job, I'm going to give you 1 month to think about it. I'm not going to take you out of the system yet, but you come back, and if about a 1 month and, about a 1 month and maybe you don't like the other job that you're working at right now, you can come back. So I ended up coming back, right? Because I wanted to work like multiple jobs. So I was like, okay, thank you so much. And he told me himself, he said, I usually don't do this with anybody. I'm like, what the fuck, right? So I was like once people quit, they're gone, they're terminated, they're off the list, and they're not gonna come back. So for me, guys, he allowed me to come back because why? I proved myself, right? You have to prove myself. I was mature. So what I'm trying to say is, guys, I argue with a lot of older people, and even if they're out here, they say that, oh, you young people can't be mature. I would argue otherwise, because I would say that if people like us, right, guys, young people, we learn the life lesson right away. And the thing is, we apply it right away. So whatever God is trying to teach me, the universe is trying to teach me, the world is trying to teach me, whatever life lesson that it is that they're trying to teach me, I make sure I know what the life lesson is, and I make sure that I apply it right away into my life, so that I become more wiser, I become more smarter, I become more mature, and I become a better version of myself. So that's the thing, guys. Everyone knows what the right and wrong thing to do is. They just don't apply it in their life, right? Like, for example, I got sick for 2 months in 2022. I sat down and I said, you know what, God, what are you trying to teach me? And I got a bunch of things. I made a list of things that God is trying to teach me. So I decided, you know what, thank you, God. I'm going to apply it right away. I stopped drinking soda. I stopped eating fast food. I stopped being a jackass and thinking negative. I started focusing more on God and being more faithful. You know what I'm saying? And having more faith in God. I started taking my health more serious. I started going to the acupuncture. I started taking my businesses more serious, right? It was just a bunch of things that I learned, and I made sure that I applied it to my everyday life. I started cutting out bad friends, toxic people, toxic relationships. I started taking my life just more serious. Why? Because I learned the lesson right away and I applied it so that it could make me a better version of myself. Okay, guys? So that's the trick, guys. You guys that be more mature, learn the lesson right away and apply it, all right? Number 3, guys, all right? Sorry, guys, for yapping, but I love explaining to you guys. Another thing that you guys got to do is you guys got to listen and shut up and learn, all right? A lot of you guys think that you guys know every single thing. And even though, guys, right, you guys are listening to me and you guys like, what about you, 5K Dono? You're so young, you think you know everything. That's the thing, guys. I don't know everything, all right? And I'm still learning. Because I'm fairly young. I'm very young. The thing is, like, when I go acupuncture every Sunday. When I go there, I don't talk like this with my acupuncturist. We can have good conversations, but I would never put myself in a position of power when I go to the acupuncture. And the reason for this, guys, is because I am learning at acupuncture. I don't want to be the one teaching, right? I don't want to be the one acting like I know better than my acupuncturist who's 55 years old and he's done all this, he's experienced in life and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to talk to him how I'm talking to you guys, right? Because why? He has more experiences and he's teaching me things. So when you go out in life, instead of actually acting like, you know, like I would never talk certain things or talk like this to certain type of people. When I talk to my coaches before, I would never talk to them like as if I know everything, because I don't know everything. He knows everything. He's teaching me. If I'm going, like, maybe I'm going Muay Thai soon, I would never go to my coach and act like, oh yeah, I know this and know that. If I talk to somebody who's a millionaire, I would never talk to them as if I'm talking to you guys and trying to preach and be all this kind of motivational shit. I would just shut up and learn. I would just enjoy the experience as a student, right? So it gets to the point where you got to enjoy being a student, all right? And you got to listen, you got to shut up, you got to learn. You kind of be like, oh, well, you know, in my perspective, you just shut up, bro. Listen and learn. A lot of people, you guys think you guys know it all. Oh yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. Listen and learn. When you go to a new job and the cook is teaching you certain things, listen and learn. Shut up. And then after you get better at the job, then maybe you can start, you know, doing your own take on it, and you can, you know, kind of give your own opinions. But when you're starting up and you're still learning, you need to just shut up and listen. And that's how you're going to be more mature. All right, a lot of these immature people, they're out there, they think they know everything. Oh, like they're always arguing back with someone. Oh, well, you know, it should be like this because, like, bro, shut the hell up. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? Listen, learn, know your right, know your what is that called? Know your position, right? Know where you are in life. Don't be out there thinking you know every single thing. So if you guys ever catch me, if you're ever in the same class, or maybe we're doing business together and I have like a mentor, I would never talk like this. Yeah, I would give my opinions. Yeah, I would, you know, stand firm on what I believe in and also give my input. But it would get to the point where I would just kind of be quiet in a sense. I would just listen. I would just be like, you know what? This is good information. I want to learn. I want to be I want to learn from mentors. I don't want to be the one always teaching people. I want to be a student too, right? So listen and learn, guys. And one more thing, guys, before I go. Number 4 is you guys got to learn a couple more things. How to control your emotions, right? So it's like stoicism, guys. This is very important. I see a lot of young people nowadays, they're lashing out. They're, you know, somebody says something bad about them, they want to fight them, they want to do something bad, they want to hurt people, they start raging. You know, shit's not going to end well. People's going to get hurt, people's going to go to prison. You know, you're going to lose, you're going to set your future up for failure because, you know, people's not going to take you serious anymore. So control your emotions. I remember when I used to work Taco Bell, there were so many people who they were just like young people just raging at the job. I remember one time, like, people were fighting at the job, people was raging at the job, people were just acting angry and they're just arguing and yelling. I'm like, bro, you gotta control your damn emotions, G. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people, if they don't know how to control emotions, it's like I'll look at them like, bro, you gotta work on yourself, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta always prove that you're a better man in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, and one more thing, guys, before I go. You guys gotta set standards. And also, you guys gotta have boundaries. Okay? This is a big one, guys. A lot of people, they don't have standards. And they don't have high expectations. They don't have boundaries from one another. And it's something that, you know, a lot of people, they gotta work on. So make sure that you guys are setting your standards high and having boundaries. If your friend is telling you, oh, you should do this, if you don't want to do it, say no. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't got to be influenced by it. And if they're a dumbass, then cut them out of your life, right? You guys got to learn how to set boundaries and set standards. Anyways, guys, I see you guys for another video. All right, subscribe. We're almost to 4,000 subscribers, so let's hit it by June. And yeah, this is gonna be a big summer for me. I'm grinding every single day, making content. So anyways, guys, I see you guys later. Yes, sir.